to this demonstration. Breaking news. An immigrant gang in Aurora, Colorado has tried to take over an apartment complex. Yes, this happened in Colorado. The alleged gang is supposedly be a Venezuela gang of thugs that tried to take over this apartment complex. But before we get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Everything that you hear in this video that I call a demonstration is allegedly. It's only the opinion and perspective of mine and my subscribers. I want to salute my replay gang, and I want to tell my replay gang how much I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all because, of course, the replay gang, you all can't make it to every live demonstration. But you always send me a reminder in the comment section, and you'll always say, Shank, I'm catching this on the replay. So a big shout out to my replay gang. A big shout out to my moderators. My moderators hold the chat down when I get the trolls to come through and be on, you know, the BS. So a big shout out to my moderators. A big shout out to all of my new subscribers. Yesterday, we over here on the Shank Rock main channel platform has reached 10,000 subscribers. So I appreciate all 10,000 of my subscribers. Also, salute to everybody that's watching from the clouds. You might not be able to drop down in the chat. You might be driving, you might be working, but you're still tuned in to listen to what Shank Rock has to say. So a big shout out to those that watch from the clouds. Salute to you, him, and her. Salute to the whole Rock Squad. Salute to my new members that have joined the Rock Squad. Salute to all of my old members. Salute if you was once a Rock Squad member. To me, you'll always be a Rock Squad member. So salute to the whole Rock Squad. Salute positive vibes. Now, I done a demonstration. The Switching Lanes content creator demonstration on last night. And that demonstration was about us content creators forming a sector. The sector is called Switching Lanes. And what we're going to do is we're going to support each other as content creators. Salute Dollar Dollar Bill, I see you. Salute Dollar Dollar Bill, I miss you too. Yes, see, that's an old Rock Squad member. But as I stated, Dollar Bill is always a Rock Squad member. Miss you as well, Dollar Bill. Now, one of the content creators, and I gotta shout him out, Dana J. If Dana J is watching, or if anybody from the Dream Team, if anybody's from Dana J's Dream Team is watching, Dana J spoke on this last night. Dana J said that a Venezuela gang, an immigrant gang in Colorado, is tried to take over an apartment complex. Salute, Denithia. So we just going to jump straight into this. And there's more. But let me just jump straight into this. What does that mean? What does that mean? If a immigrant gang, if a bunch of immigrants, migrants, whatever it is we want to call them, if they are right now, if they are attempting to take over on a whole apartment complex building, what is that to say years down the line? Let's Y'all know how we do. Let's jump straight to it. We're going to dive straight into this because Dana J mentioned this last night.
The city nonprofits have lined up to help the migrants that have come here, but nobody is helping the American citizens, the residents that are trapped in these apartment complexes.
What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? We just getting started, y'all. We're just getting started. What are y'all thoughts? Republicans, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, what are y'all thoughts on the immigrants?
Video obtained here at Fox 31. This is at an apartment complex in Aurora showing men with long guns and pistols in their hands. This is at an apartment building, and a pretty concerning video that is now going viral on social media. National news is picking this up, but we've been following this locally for weeks and we have questions.
City council members and people living in the area claim this is part of a gang takeover in several parts of the city. Those claims now getting national attention. So we wanted to go right to the mayor. Mayor Coffman joins us live via Zoom this morning to talk more about this situation. First of all, thank you for taking some time out. I know you're dealing with a lot. When you see this video, what do you think? Because I don't live in Aurora, but I think to myself, holy cow, if I lived in Aurora, I'd be freaking out right now.
Well, it's, let me put it in context first. This concern that it's 3 apartment complexes, but that's not to minimize it at all. But we're the 51st largest city in America, over 400,000 in population. And so, but there are 3 apartment complexes that we believe in that where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and the criminality is unfortunately followed. So we have a task force with local, state and our federal law enforcement partners working on it to root these criminals out and get them off the streets. But it certainly concerns me. But it is in 3 apartment complexes.
Now, you and I talked about this issue of apartment complexes, migrant gangs. We talked about this at length last week. And I did ask you if you knew about armed people going around and intimidating people at these complexes, and you said you did know that this was happening to the apartment building owners, and to an extent that we knew it was happening to people who lived there. But my question is, when did you first see this video, and when did you know it was to the extent that we're seeing in this video?
Well, we've known, I think I put out a couple weeks ago that we informed the task force. We knew at that time that we informed the law enforcement task force to root them out, that there was intimidation going on, and part of that intimidation certainly involves individuals with weapons.
Mr. Mayor, why Aurora? I've got people from across the country sending me messages. What's going on in Aurora? Why are these gangs in Aurora? Do we know why they came here? Why they seem to be taking over some spots in our city?
So I'm trying to trace it back right now. I can tell you, some things that are unconfirmed that I believe are true. I think we know that these gang elements are attracted to concentrations of Venezuelan migrants. That's unfortunately, there's a lot of criminality in Venezuela. It's basically a failed state. The role of the police department there is to protect the government. It's not to protect the people. And so, unfortunately, some of these criminal elements have come up with the migrants. With my understanding that Venezuela does not share criminal histories with the United States, and so it's very difficult to vet them at the border, yet they've been allowed to come in anyway. People can cross the border illegally, be arrested, and then receive humanitarian parole to apply. They've applied for political asylum until their cases can be adjudicated. It's a terrible combination where they come into the country. They don't have access to a work permit for 6 months. They don't have resources. I think what happened, and again, I'm trying to trace this back, is that what happened is we had, we have some buildings that unfortunately are pretty run down, have a high vacancy rate or relatively low rent. And I think somebody placed them there. Is it an agency of the federal government, perhaps, using some of our local nonprofit partners here as a conduit? Because the city of Aurora took a position early on. We were not going to participate in the migrant crisis. We were not going to provide taxpayer support, and we were not even going to be a conduit for federal dollars to come in to provide assistance. This is not our problem. This is a problem created by the federal government at the border with bad policy.
Stop right there. Now there, I want to stop. You have nonprofit organizations that are out there on the front line, raising money, using their resources to help these migrants. You have the federal government. And I asked last night on the demonstration, who is in charge of the Border Patrol? And the answer was the vice president. The vice president was put in charge of the border patrol. Now, we can fight, we could go back and forth, we could scratch each other's eyes out. Are we willing to accept the fact that we have a big immigration problem? We have a big immigration problem. Hey, I'm all for people wanting to come to this country and better themselves. But when you have migrants, when you have illegal immigrants, when you have anyone coming from another country, and then I believe that was broad daylight. I showed y'all the clip. It's like they're moving with no worries at all. Like they know the assignment, they know the mission, they on it. Like it's no repercussions. Because what happens in these cases, even when they are arrested, what happens? Who knows the legal process when an immigrant gets arrested in this country for a violent crime? Who knows what the legal process is? I do know, because I had several friends, and I do know several immigrants that was in this kind of predicament. And they were locked up. They were detained for serious offenses. We all know what happened. And if you don't know what happened, worst scenario, they get sent back to the country that they come from, right? Some of them get sent in the country that they go back to, they put them in prison, but most of them don't serve no jail time or no prison time once they go back to their countries. 6 months later to 2 years or 3 years, even if it's not that long, they're what? They're making their way back across the border. How are we going to stop this? Can we stop this? What do the Democrats have to say about it? What do the Republicans have to say about it? What do the conservatives? What do the liberals? What do anybody have to say about this? Like I said, when I seen it, I said, wow. I said, this is the same thing. This is the same story that Dana J was speaking on last night. He was speaking on this very story last night. So what are y'all thoughts before we go any further? Let me know. How do y'all feel? What are y'all thoughts? You know? Whoever becomes the 47th president is, or should they focus on the illegal immigrants? Salute, Jamie. I see you. Appreciate you for pulling up, Jamie. Or do we just sweep it up under the rug and just say, hey, Shank, you know, gangs been in the USA for as long as we can remember. What about the black gangs? Should we shift all the blame on the black gangs? What about the black gangs? The black gangs been doing it for 200 years. What about these other group of people that's in this country that has gangs and they've been, you know, taking over the community and things of that nature? What difference does it make? How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel? Because once again, salute Marie. There, let me go to this. Let me finish this off because there's more to it that I want for you all to hear before I could get any further. Let's finish it.
And so it's the federal government that needs to solve this problem, not the city of Aurora. But somehow we've got this problem, we inherited this problem involuntarily. And so I'm trying to walk it back and say, I believe that these people just didn't go there on their own. I think somebody put them there. I'm trying to find out right now, and I have a meeting with a leader really understands these nonprofit organizations that provide assistance, who provided this assistance, who made this decision to put them there.
Why do couples choose to sleep members?
So the mayor feels like somebody put them there. I mean, how did they just pop up like that?
I asked you the same question last week as a yes or no answer. I'd like you to elaborate today. Is Aurora a safe place?
Absolutely. I think, you're talking about a city of well over 400,000 people, 51st largest city in America. And this is a very isolated problem. We have other isolated problems that we're trying to deal with. And as certainly the mayor, I don't believe you surrender any part of this city to a criminal element, whether it's sections of Aurora to, prostitution and drug dealing, or it's these criminal elements from this Venezuelan criminal elements that are preying upon their own people, but in doing so have taken over several apartment complexes. So if we have to, and I hope we don't, I hope we can move these people out without pushing everybody out of the entire apartment building. But I'll tell you, as somebody who was in counterinsurgency warfare in Iraq with the Marine Corps, you have an enemy population you have an enemy that is inside a population that is intimidated by them. And so the challenge is getting people to cooperate to identify them, or using film footage to identify them, get them out. So what I look forward to is updates from our police department and from our other law enforcement partners that are working on this to say what progress that we're making in these isolated areas, in these pockets, in terms of dealing with what I consider as an enemy force.
Well, if Fed policies, as you say, were to blame for a lot of this, do you try to make the White House pay for what you guys are trying to do right now to deal with this?
Well, I think I want to get the answers first. I believe that, first of all, the problem is at the border. If you can walk across, people can walk. We have,
Let me stop. Now, according to the mayor, he said that the problem isn't the border. What are y'all thoughts? He feels to believe that the problem isn't at the border. Drop a 1 if you think he's correct.
believe that, well, first of all, the problem is at the border. I mean, if you can walk across, people can walk, we have, Venezuela unfortunately is a failed state under a socialist dictator. And people are leaving. I think about a third of the population has left. And so I think a lot of them are great people. But unlike immigration that we've had in the past, in our Venezuelan community that has been here, where they had sponsors, where they had family members, where they came to have resources, they were educated. I mean, here we're getting people that just poured over the border where typically you walk across illegally, you get arrested, you declare political asylum, you're given humanitarian parole until your case can be adjudicated, which could take months, years, before those cases are adjudicated. In the meantime, again, you have a situation, and this is separate from the criminality, but I want to say that it creates it's a broader problem than the gangs, that you have people that are here without resources that can't apply for a work permit until they're here for 6 months. I mean, desperate people do desperate things. So, Mike,
I'm not buying that. Salute Zena. Salute Zena. I like how he tried to go, because now when the black gangs do it, it's, well, nothing should make them resort to a life of crime. They should have stayed in school. They should have got an education. So why are we trying to make excuses for these gangs that come to this country, and just because they can't get a job, then it's kind of like justified for them to resort to a life of crime? What about the millions of us, and some white boys as well, and others? Salute Marco. Salute Marco. What about us? Let's go to Trump. Let's go to Trump. Because according to this mayor, the border is not the problem. He seems to believe that that's not the problem. Make sure y'all hit the like button. If I could get y'all to hit the like button. Double tap the screen, or even hit the 3 dots up in the corner.
She does not care about protecting little children from sex change operations because she chose Tampon Tim as her running mate, who believes the state, not mothers and fathers, should have the final say on sex change operations for their children. Do you know that? The state's allowed to decide whether or not they're going to do a sex change operation on their children. Kamala Harris wants to outlaw your car and truck and force you to buy electric vehicles, whether you like it or not. She couldn't care less. And you can't afford to do that because, again, they don't go far, but they're much more expensive. She does not care how it impacts you and your family. Kamala Harris does not care about senior citizens because she believes illegal aliens should receive Social Security and Medicare, which she knows will bankrupt those insurance programs, making it impossible for you to receive your pension and your health care, which you paid for your entire life. You've been paying for it. People are going to take it away. Those people that are coming in, remember, they're living in luxury hotels, and our veterans are dying on the street. You know that. They're dying on the streets under the hotels. You have pictures last night, veterans dying on the street, and other citizens, but veterans dying on the street. And inside the hotel, nice and high in nice rooms, the government's paying a fortune to keep illegal aliens that came into our country, many of them criminals. There's something wrong with the thought process. She wants to destroy your private health care, even if you like it, even if your employer contributes to it. And she wants Washington, D.C. to make your medical decisions. She wants Washington to decide what procedures, medicines, and care you should receive. Whether you like it or whether you don't, she doesn't care. Kamala Harris has had nearly 4 years to show us who she is. She is an uncaring politician with a radical ideology. She is a Marxist, just like her father. Despite her campaign of lies and flip-flops, we know who Kamala Harris is. She's the greatest flip-flopper of all time. She's copying every policy of Trump. Well, let's make her MAGA. I don't think so. Does anybody want to make Kamala MAGA? I don't think so. We'll send her a red hat without MAGA on it. We know by her actions and we know by her inaction. We know she does not care about working people, about the middle class, about the American citizen. She does not respect you. Ask the families of the 13 incredible service member heroes who died during the surrender of Afghanistan, which was surrendered by Kamala and Sleepy Joe, whether or not Kamala Harris cares about our young people and our military. Those incredible parents and sisters and brothers, they asked me to go yesterday to Arlington, and I did. And while I was there, I was there for a long time. It was very tough to get to because I was not in a good position to get there. It was very far away, but I did. I made it I got there right on time. And I spent a lot of time there. And while I was there, those families that asked me to be there, as they said, 3 families plus 1 soldier who was horrifically injured, both legs and an arm. And they asked me if I would be there, so I went. And while we were there, they said, could you take pictures over the grave of my son, my sister, my brother? Would you take pictures with us, sir? I said, absolutely, I did. And then I said farewell, I said goodbye. And last night I read that I was using the site to politic, that I used it to politic. This all comes out of Washington, just like all of these prosecutors come out of Washington. They all come out, they send their prosecutors into the DA's office, they send them into the Attorney General's office. These are bad people we're dealing with. So I go there, they ask me to have a picture, and they say I was campaigning. I don't need, the one thing I get is plenty of publicity. I don't need that. I don't need the publicity. But these are great people, and when you think about it, Joe Biden killed their children by incompetence. Should have never happened. Kamala killed their children, just as though they had a gun in their hand, by gross incompetence. And not one general or incompetent bureaucrat was fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And then they accused me of having a picture taken at the tombstone with a family because they love the president. They love me and I love them. I got to know them. Ask the cops in the street trying to protect you from murderers and rapists and thugs if Kamala Harris cares about law-abiding citizens. Remember to fund the police. Ask the families of women raped and murdered by illegal aliens and the teenagers cut to shreds by gangs from El Salvador and Venezuela if Kamala Harris cares about you. She destroyed San Francisco. Harris has opposed school choice for poor inner-city kids. She has opposed police in schools to protect our children. She has defended stocking school library shelves with filthy graphic books, horrible books. She refused to prosecute pedophiles who molested children when she was DA and AG in California. Does this sound like someone who cares about your children? Kamala Harris has failed you. She has failed totally as Vice President of the United States. She's been a total failure. Nobody even knows who she is. She's broken trust with you. She's done nothing for the middle class, nothing for working families, and she's done absolutely nothing for hardworking people. Your eyes don't lie. You see it. You know it. We all see it. She's the sitting Vice President of the United States, and yet nobody knows who the hell she is. She does not give a damn about you. This is the real Kamala Harris, and now she wants to get a promotion to the worst job. All she had to do is take care of the border. That would be okay. Just take care of the border. She couldn't even do that. She never even went there. She went to a location that you'd like to go to have dinner with your family.
Drop a 1. Drop a 1 if you agree with Trump. Drop a 2 if you disagree. Drop a 1 if you agree that Kamala should have took better of the border. Drop a 2 if you disagree. Salute, Zena. I see you.
Emotion.
I see you, Marco.
Because she can hide, she can lie through her surrogates and the corrupt media, and they are very corrupt, remember that?
Salute, Chen. I see you, Chen. Salute, Chen.
And it will come out. The American people are smart. They are not to be manipulated by Hollywood, the fake news media and advertising. And as you deserve, a president who respects you, talks to you, and who levels with you, puts it right on the level, and who always has your best interests and has your back. I have your back, I have your heart, and I have every other part of your body. All of us today are part of the greatest political movement in the history of our country. This is the greatest movement in the history of our country. We did something that we really broke them up. This was getting bad. We broke them up. They're not happy about it. They're nasty. But this is the greatest MAGA, Make America Great Again, the greatest movement in the history of our country. You know, outside, they won't ever report this. They never report it. Outside, you have thousands and thousands of people that couldn't get in. They don't get seats like you guys. They didn't get the seats that you got, believe me. But you have thousands and thousands of people outside, as far as the eye could see, as we're driving up. We'll live taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, and low inflation so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, a home. We will stop immediately the horrific invasion, end migrant crime, support our police, build a missile defense shield all around our country like other countries have. We make them here, it'll all be made right here, and it'll be made also in Michigan, a lot of it. But we're gonna have, and Ronald Reagan wanted that many years ago, but the truth is at that point we didn't have the technology. Now we have great technology. You see that other countries have it, we don't have it. We're gonna have the best of all. We're gonna have a missile defense system, gonna be built in the United States, installed all over and around our country. We're going to restore peace through strength, which is what I did. We had no wars when Donald Trump was president. Now we have nothing but wars. Prime Minister Viktor Orban of Hungary, he said the reason that the world is a mess because Trump is no longer president. When Trump was president, they were afraid of Trump. I don't want to use that term, but he did. He said they were afraid. China was afraid.
What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? Do y'all agree with him? Was the world afraid of Trump? Is that why we wasn't in any war? Because the world was afraid of Trump.
I said, I hate like hell to see if you're strong on us. But the war would have never happened. Would have never, ever happened. But Viktor Orban said, you bring back Trump and the whole world is going to be a safer place. We're going to keep critical race theory and transgender insanity out of our schools. We're going to keep men out of women's sports. And we're going to return our society based on merit, which the Supreme Court has given us the right to do, based on merit. We're going to go back to a merit system. If you're good at something, that's what you get. The Supreme Court approved that. That was courageous. We will defend the Second Amendment. We're going to do something that I think is very important. We're going to restore free speech, and we will really, truly restore. We're going to fix our elections so that our elections are going to be honorable and honest, and people leave and they know their vote is counted. We are going to have free and fair elections, and ideally we go to paper ballots, same-day voting, proof of citizenship, very big, and voter ID. Very simple, very simple. One-day voting, one day. You ever see these things? You know, everyone's talking about November 5th. But forget November 5th. It starts on September 6th in various states, North Carolina, but various states, Delaware. It starts on November 6th. Goes months and months voting. Why are those boxes being moved around? Why are those ballots being moved? Why are they not there? Sir, we're fixing the air conditioning in that particular. It is so bad. It is so out of control. Everyone under President Trump will prosper. Every family will thrive. And Michigan manufacturing will dominate like never before. You're going to dominate like never before. But for that to happen this election day, you must tell Comrade Kamala, Comrade, you're doing a horrible job. You've been a terrible vice president, a horrible, horrible border czar. You're not a border czar. You're a border patsy. You were played by every country in the world. The worst job we've ever seen, probably the worst vice president we've ever had. He certainly was the worst president. Comrade Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Get out of here. Get out of here. It's amazing they can have support. I don't get it. Who would support somebody that wants open borders? Who would support somebody that wants men in women's sports? You see the boxing in the Olympics? Two transitioned people. They transitioned from men to women, did you see? Fighting a young, beautiful Italian boxer, top boxer. They thought big things from her. And then, bing, I left you up just a jet. She go, whoa, what? I just got hit with a horse.
What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? Is he making sense? Salute everybody in the chat. James, I see all y'all. Is he making sense? Let's be honest now. Is he making sense?
A couple of very talented women just beat the hell out of him. They both won the gold medal. Shockingly. Are you shocked? You're not shocked, huh? In fact, you would have bet everything. You would have bet 100%. The odds were pretty good, right? And then you have people like Kamala. How about weightlifting? Weightlifting record set many years ago. They put 1/8 of an ounce on each side. 18-year-old record. They go out there. They're strong women. They can't quite make it though. Guy comes out. Have you lifted before? No. How do I do it? Just put your hands on the bar. Try and look good. You mean like this? Oh, they beat it by like hundreds of pounds. The whole thing is crazy. And nobody wants to complain. You know, the women, like the swimmers, they don't like to complain. They're really afraid to complain because they'll be accused of bad things. But look at the swimmers. They come out, they're Olympic swimmers, and they look left, they look right, they see guys, people that they were growing up with.
We're gonna come back to Trump, y'all. I got some commentary to do real quick. We're gonna come back to Trump, all right? Where are all my Kamala Harris supporters at? Trump supporters, y'all can weigh on this. Now, what will Kamala do pertaining to the border issues? What will she do when it comes to the men that no longer consider themselves as men? They go through the sexual change and then they participate in these women's sports. And I mean, come on, let's just be honest. Sure, there are many things that women can do that men can do. There are many things that women can do better than men. Sure. And even in the physical fight, there are some women that can beat a man. But let's be honest and let's get down, as the old folks would say, let's get down to the nitty gritty. I see you, Hackman. Salute. I see you, Hackman. You can't change what God made. And let's get down to the nitty gritty. In competition, in sports, I mean, do you really want to put a man in a boxing ring to box against a woman? Somebody talk to me. Marie says, I just don't know. Want to wait on the debate when it comes. Salute, Ern. Ern says, nothing. She'll do nothing like she is already going. And see, that's where I'm at. Like the last demonstration, I was chopping it up about Trump. And I said, and I'll say it again, the only issue that I have with Trump is his character. Okay, but now I'm speaking on Kamala. And some of the issues that I have on Kamala. We could just start with one. Even though I want to talk about the border crisis, because that's what this demonstration is about, the border crisis. But, and it's no disrespect for the LGBT community. Why not put the man, or why not put the woman that was born a man, that had the sex change, why not put her in a boxing ring with another woman that was born a man? That way, both of their strength is equal. Why not do that? You got to be twisted in the head if you put a woman that was born a man in the same ring with a woman that was born a woman, and you watch this woman that was born a man, you watching this woman, this man, whatever it is you want to call it, you watching them throw blows at this woman. What? Come on. Now, Trump is not having that. Trump says that's negative. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Kamala, on the other hand, approves it. So, do we bypass Kamala? Because this is what I noticed now. This is what I noticed. When I was advocating for Trump, Trump couldn't do nothing right. Anything that I spoke on that Trump done right, it was always but shank. It was always something to go along with whatever it was that Trump done right. Trump couldn't do right. He couldn't win. So now we're on the Kamala side. Are we going to call a spade, or are we going to sweep it up under the rug? Y'all know how I get down on the platform. I ride neutral. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I give y'all the good, the bad, and the ugly from both sides. I'm going to give you the bad about Trump, but I got to give you the bad about Kamala as well. So I'm asking you all, drop a 3. I'm going to change the numbers. Drop a 3 if you think that it's okay for a woman that was born a man to get in a boxing ring and box a woman that was born a woman. Do you think that that's fair? Well, once again, Kamala, they don't have no problem with that. They don't have an issue with that. So what are we doing here? Are we going to give her a pass? Are we going to give her a pass? Because I got to say it now, and the Trump supporters know this. If it was Trump, and if Trump was allowing that, salute Capricorn Chronicles, if Trump was allowing that, we already know. We already know. Trump, they would come for Trump immediately. So we have to really look at both sides. Right is right and wrong is wrong. It don't make a difference who it is that's doing the right. It don't make a difference who it is that's doing the wrong. And for me watching both sides, Trump supporters know how I feel. And I tell Trump supporters, look, when Trump supporters tell me, Shank, because I say my issue with Trump is his character. And Trump supporters will say, but Shank, it don't matter about his character. And I go toe for toe with the Trump supporters. And I tell the Trump supporters, it is about his character. But now I have to go toe to toe with the Kamala Harris supporters. You know, right is right, wrong is wrong. Why isn't Kamala, and she advocates for women's rights, she's always advocating and she's always talking about what she's going to do for women. and which I think is awesome and wonderful. Well, why doesn't Kamala speak on the matter that I'm speaking on? I'm sure that she knows that there are women that were born men that are playing all women sports. And that's wrong. Yes, I said it. And whether y'all if y'all could dig this up 20 years from now and try to hold this over my head like y'all do, people, y'all go back. Somebody might have said something 10 years ago about something, and y'all go back 10 years and bring that up and make them apologize for what they saying. But why do we have to bow down to what's wrong? Why? Why? And when you don't bow down to what's wrong, you get outcast. It seems like you're the bad person. But how can she or how can he be the bad person? All he did was stood up for what was right. In America, I'm just quoting, allegedly America supposed to be a Christian nation. Well, we know that to be a Christian, you must follow Jesus Christ. And we all know that Jesus Christ stood up for what was right. Haven't we learned anything? Now, if America is a Christian nation and we are Christians, are we following Jesus Christ? And if we are following Jesus Christ, why are we being punished for standing up for what's right? Somebody help me understand that. The founding forefathers, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. It's in the Constitution. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Now we can go to the currency of the United States of America. In God we trust. Are we, as a Christian nation, are we playing with God? Salute my boo. I see everybody down there. Are we playing with God? What are we doing here? Like I said, if I can hold Donald Trump accountable for his character, then I have to hold Kamala accountable for her morals and her values. And if you justify a woman that was born a man, if you justify that, for that to be up against a woman that was born a woman, that's wrong. Morally, it's wrong. So now I want to talk about the border crisis, because this demonstration is about the immigrants, the migrants in Colorado that's trying to take over the apartment complex. Salute Texas. Now, open borders are more. No, that's two different things. I was on something else with Kamala as far as the Transformers, but now I'm on the borders. Something completely different. Capricorn Chronicles says they are in Baltimore next. Yes. So, a few weeks ago, and I'm going to backtrack the clip for y'all that just pulled up. A few weeks ago in Colorado, immigrants tried to take over an apartment building in Colorado. Hackman says, can you imagine the smuggling going on through the open borders? You can just imagine. Now, Kamala was in charge of the Border Patrol. Yes, this is what I learned yesterday. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Kamala was and still is in charge of the Border Patrol. Now, if she was in charge of the Border Patrol, no, you're not going to be able to stop every immigrant. No, you're not going to be able to stop everybody from getting here. But it's a difference from trying to stop them compared to just welcome them in. It's a difference from not giving them benefits to giving them benefits. See, that's the difference. I'll say it again. For many years, and I want y'all to listen, Capricorn says, how is it that they made sure the Haitians didn't get in though? There you go. Can somebody tell me that? Capricorn Chronicles says, how is it that they made sure the Haitians didn't get in? Somebody answer that question. Now, this is what I'm going to say to Black America and White America. We spent 400 years or more. We spent 400 years or more fighting each other. White people spent all these years lynching us and discriminating against us. Y'all did. Y'all did. I'm calling a spade a spade. How do you feel now that the immigrants are coming to this country? And I want to talk to white America. Let me talk to white America, because I haven't spoke to white America in a minute. I'm speaking to white America. How do you feel? And I don't want to hear nothing about Shank. It ain't about race. In this demonstration, it is. So I don't want to hear none of y'all white America talking about Shank. It ain't about race. This demonstration, what I'm saying, it is. White America, how do y'all feel knowing that as well as Black Americans have been discriminated against and Black Americans have been at the bottom of the totem pole? White America, how does it feel that y'all white asses is on y'all way to the bottom of the pole with our black asses? Because the immigrants are the new Americans. Salute Trelane. Appreciate that super chat. Trelane says, agree with Trump's stance on border patrol. I don't agree on spending millions of dollars on a border wall when the money can be put to better use. Appreciate that super chat, Trelane. How many of y'all agree with Trelane? White America, I'm not finished with y'all. But let me read Trelane comment again, his super chat. I agree with Trump's stance on border patrol. I don't agree on spending millions of dollars on a border wall when the money can be put to better use. Hackman says the new middle class. Yeah, the immigrants. The immigrants. So white privilege, I hope y'all asses enjoy y'all white privileges, because the immigrants are getting ready to shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So here's the question to white American. What are y'all going to do? See, we need y'all to step up to the plate. We done our job. Black America built this country. Black America held this country down for 400 plus years. It ain't on Black America no more. And remember, I don't want to hear nothing about it ain't about race. This demonstration, it is. Now, another demonstration that I do probably won't be about race, but this demonstration is about race. White America, listen to me. Y'all always coming for us. So what are y'all gonna do? Y'all always talking about the black people don't vote. It's always the black people don't do this. The black people don't do that. It's always the black people mess this up. It's always blaming black people. Can't blame us no more. You can't. I'ma ask again, and then I'ma go to the chat. And I want some serious answers from the chat. Anybody saying it ain't about race, I'm not reading your comment. Answer the question. White America, what are y'all gonna do? Because guess what? Guess what? Trump, if he loses the election, What are y'all going to do? Even if he wins the election, if Trump wins the election, they on his head. 34 felony convictions. He just got indicted on those 4 charges. So even if he becomes president, it's not likely that he's going to make it through his 4 years. I like both of them. I like Trump. I like Kamala. Y'all know that. I like them both. I don't like Biden. I never did like Biden. Being honest. I'm being honest. I like Trump. I like Kamala. But we know whether Trump wins or lose, we already know we're going to have to prepare. We're going to have to prepare for some troubled times. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. Okay, I see you, James. James says, don't sleep on India. They coming too. What are you going to do, white America? I'll wait. I'll wait. See, all those years, and I want y'all to listen to me, white America. All those years that y'all discriminated against us, it's coming back to bite y'all in the ass. Oh, yeah. It's coming back to bite y'all in the ass. All the discrimination and all the harsh treatments that y'all put us through. Coming back, because I got news for y'all. Them immigrants in them other countries, they really don't want to beef with us. They really don't. They don't really got a real beef with us. It's just when we step in and we try to beef with them. When I say y'all, I'm not talking about you as individual. See, Texas, I can't talk to you. If you sitting up here trying to deflate, when I say white people, if you trying to deflate it and say Shank, I ain't discriminating against nobody. How many black friends do you have, Texas Repo? And don't lie. How many black friends do you have, Texas Repo? I'm not speaking from victim mentality. See, one thing I learned about white people, whenever we talk, whenever we rapping, and whenever black people try to hold y'all accountable, y'all always say what? You got a victim mentality. No, I don't. I got an intellectual mentality. And that's why I'm holding y'all asses accountable. See? Because I can hold y'all accountable. Texas says, my black friend is black. How many do you have? Salute, Tommy. I see you. How many? See, when I'm on these demonstrations and I'm holding black people accountable, you don't hear too much from the white people. When I start to hold white people accountable, that's when the conflict. That's when the conflict. Let me ask you something, Texas Repo, and don't lie. Are you for black reparations? Are you for black people receiving reparations? Capricorn says having a black best friend does not mean you know how to be an ally. That's facts. That's facts. Hackman says that best friend quote doesn't mean nothing. That's facts. That's facts. But come on now, white America. And remember, all opinions are welcome. All perspectives will be all perspectives will be respected. We talking. We chopping it up. We're trying to understand each other. We're trying to get to some solutions. So I need for white America, I need for y'all to talk to me. Is it any white person that is against reparations for black people? And if it is, and it's fine. Hey, it's fine if you disagree. But if it's any white people that disagree with reparations for black people, please talk to me and please explain why. Because maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed something. Believe it or not, there's some black people. There's some black people that are against reparations for black people. And I got to call those black people out. If you are black, melanated, y'all know what I'm talking about, copper, whatever it is y'all want to call us. And if you are against reparations for blacks, you're sick in the head. Cat Kitty says, we are all shades of wheat. I am not accountable for my... That's not the question. Come on, y'all. Come on. Ancestors' actions from years ago. If we're going to do this, and I want to do this, if we're going to do this, let's do this. Answer the question. And I'll ask the question again. Tommy says, most of those black people are not foundational black Americans, my brother. I'm talking about the ones who don't want reparations for the most part. Jeremy says, I don't feel with reparations should be expected for something that happened generations ago. James says, you are not getting reparations. Hackman says, the $1 million question is, do rather give up rulership to us? Nobody wants to answer my question. Let me find a clip, y'all. All right. Now, Jermaine Dupri was blasted for his comments. Let's go to Jermaine Dupri about Kamala Harris. Because I'm not going to do this reparations with y'all because I needed y'all to be honest. None of y'all wouldn't answer the question. White America, you are welcome. But just like I hold black America accountable, just like I hold Trump accountable, just like I hold Kamala accountable, just like I hold myself accountable. White America, you gotta be held accountable. And y'all gotta know that y'all, you say it was your ancestors, but y'all still have possession. Y'all still maintain. Y'all still have the same possession, the things that your ancestors did to us that benefited your ancestors. I believe they call that generational wealth. Can I hear you now? White America, can I hear you now? I do believe that that's generational wealth. When generations before your time put in motion. So let's go back to what your ancestors done. Didn't y'all reap the benefits of what your ancestors done? Don't y'all still have control of that? Y'all really want to do this? But let's go to Jermaine Dupri. White America, do not make me get on one. Because as quick as I am to get on one with black Americans, white America, I will drag y'all for filth on this demonstration. But let's go to Jermaine Dupri, y'all.
Amazing. But I also feel like tonight, Kamala Harris has a pretty difficult job, right? And it's interesting because the Republican correspondent that's been doing the roundup after the DNC has ended, he asked the question that I kind of asked Kamala when we had our second meeting, the fact that she's in office right now, she's in the White House right now. And the guy, he said, what makes y'all believe that she's gonna get this stuff done if she becomes president and she's already in the House? And it's a tricky question because asked Kamala basically the same thing, right? In so many words. And I asked her, like, as the vice president, why they don't let her talk when, Biden seems like he needed someone to speak up for him. I thought that's what the role of the vice president was.
I like that right there, y'all. Let's build off of what Jermaine Dupri said, and he caught flack for that. Now, for my Kamala Harris supporters, Jermaine Dupri raised a good question. Jermaine Dupri said, why didn't they allow Kamala to speak? She is the vice president. And them times when we saw Biden and he wasn't able to hold these conversations, most of the times at any given time, it just looked like he was going to fall out. Why didn't they go to the vice president? See, you got to look at the game now. Remember the game, I said. See, they know when. They know when to go to get that queen. Kamala is representing the queen. When he won the election, he knew, Biden, they knew to go and get a colored woman, right? They got Kamala on board. I see you, Willie. They got Kamala. They put Kamala on board. Kamala became the vice president. Biden and them won. Now remember, they wasn't so quick to get Kamala as the vice president to step in and speak until Trump was winning. Come on. They knew it. So they knew we're going to have to go to the queen again. And now they got the queen on the board to protect the king. Right, James? It's all a game. Like I said, I like them both now. I like them both. I'm learning from both of them. But if you think that Trump is full of BS, and for 1 second you don't think Kamala is full of BS, you fooling yourself. Vice versa. If you think Kamala is full of BS and you don't think Trump is full of BS, you fooling yourself. But where I'm at now, I'm at the end of the rainbow. I'm at the end of the rainbow. I didn't laugh enough. Trump made me laugh. I didn't laugh enough. Kamala, I'm feeling her. But at the end of the day, it's time to take care of business. Drop a 6. Drop a 6 in the chat if you feel like me. At the end of the day, it's time to get down to business. That's where I'm at right now. Now, when I say get down to business, I'm talking about leading this country, putting this country in a position that we all can benefit. Putting this country in a position where I won't have to call out white America. Putting this country in a position where I won't have to call out black America. Putting this country in a position where I won't have to call out illegal immigrants. But somebody has to put this country in that position. Somebody. Or guess what? I won't be the only one that's talking white America, black America, immigrants. I won't be the only one that's talking Democrat, Republican. I won't be the only one that's categorizing us Americans in different categories. I won't be. I won't be asking for reparations for black people. I won't be asking for black people to stop being discriminated against. I won't be asking none of that. I won't speak on white privilege. I won't speak on migrants, illegal immigrants coming to this country, trying to transport drugs from third world countries. I won't talk about none of that. But until we can get somebody, until a leader, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, until a leader comes in and lead the country, and I'm going to be honest with you, it don't start with Trump. It didn't start with Kamala. We got to go back. When, and I want the chat to tell me, when has any president done right by this country? Now, I don't want to hear nobody talking. Black America, white America, when have any president done right by this country? And I'm going to tell you, it's been a long time. Because I'm going to tell you why. Tell me, James, name a president that done right by our veterans. Name me one president that done right by our veterans. Lincoln done right by our veterans. Trump done right. What did Lincoln do right by our veterans? What have Trump done right by our veterans? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me. I want to know. If you're able to tell me a president that done right by our veterans, tell me what they done. Got to be more specific, Freedom. You got to be more specific. The voice inside my head says Lincoln freed the slaves. Well, okay, you could consider the slaves the veterans because, you know, our ancestors, okay. But did Lincoln really free the slaves? Or did Lincoln set the slaves back another 400 years? Because, let's be honest, if you go to the average black person will tell you they may have removed the physical chains, but we still bear the mental chains. So that's a demonstration that we have to revisit. Did Lincoln really free the slaves? Or did Lincoln set us back? Trelane says, preach. It's so many homeless veterans out here who need help and mental health treatment for PTSD. So that's where I'm at. And I'll tell you, there are many white veterans. There are many black veterans. There are Asian veterans. There are Hispanic veterans. So at least when I'm talking about the veterans, at least I'm not making it about one race of people. So we could start right there. That way, race, we won't have to worry about bringing race into this conversation. But name me, and when you name the see, y'all name Trump, but you got to be specific, because the last time I checked, Trump, Biden, Obama, Bush, the father, Bush, the son, Reagan, Jimmy Carter, Nixon, none of them done nothing for the veterans. Somebody talk to me. Lincoln did what he did to save the Union. What did slaves do when he said they were free? The same thing as before. Clinton, what did Clinton do for the homeless? James says, I attended a speech in West Virginia that was given by Democrat Senator Byrd. His speech on the KKK was interesting. You care to share? Do you care to share, James, what you got out of it? If nobody can tell me what president or a president that done something for the homeless, I'll move forward. Because as I stated before, I meant the veterans. As I stated before, you mean to tell me the veterans? How is it? The voice in my head says out of the last 16 years, the 4 years that were the best were the Trump years. The other 12 years were Democrat president. I don't want to hear that. Matter of fact, the voice in my head, get your ass out of my head. I want to know, what did Trump do for the veterans? How is it that athletes, how is it that entertainers, how is it that just Americans, period, get paid millions and millions of dollars, but the veterans, do y'all know that 40% of all homeless people are veterans? 40%, they took a poll, 40% of veterans serve in the military. 40% of the homeless are veterans. It's a problem. It's a problem. So the one thing that I can say from Trump all the way past Biden, because Biden, none of them done nothing for the veterans. Freedom says, I'm a vet and used to take 2 months for an appointment, but Trump cut it down to 24 hours. Recognize, all right, I'll take that. I'll take that. At least you're telling me something. I'll take that, Freedom. Freedom says, as a vet, it used to take 2 months for appointments, but Trump cut it down to 24 hours. I'll give Trump that. That's all I'm saying. Give me something that they have done for the veterans. A shout out and a salute to everyone that served in the military. I really appreciate the work that you all done. So can I get some salutes from the chat to all of our military? Let's get some salutes going on for our veterans and everybody that served in the military. And let's be honest. Let's be honest. The majority of y'all, some of y'all knew, but the majority of the military are fighting wars that they don't even know nothing about. The majority of those that are in the military are fighting wars that they don't even know nothing about. So a salute to all military.
Because we are running as the underdog, okay? And we have some hard work ahead of us, but we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is good work. And with your help, we are going to win this November. We are going to win this November. Yes, we will. So look, Georgia, let me say, I'm no stranger to tough fights. Before I was elected vice president,
Before I was elected a United States Senator, I was an elected Attorney General, and before that, an elected District Attorney. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. So every day in the courtroom, I stood proudly before a judge and I spoke 5 words. Kamala Harris for the people. My entire career, I've only had one client, the people. I stood for women and children against predators who abused them. I took on the big banks and delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure. I fought against cartels who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. And I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges. For workers who were being cheated out of the wages they were due. And for seniors facing elder abuse. And I will tell you, those fights were not easy. And neither were the elections that put me in those offices. But we never gave up. Because the future is always worth fighting for. Always. And that is the fight we are in right now, a fight for America's future. We fight for a future with affordable child care, paid leave, and affordable health care. Let's finally expand Medicaid in Georgia so people can take their child to a doctor or go to an emergency room without going into medical debt. We fight for a future where we build what I call an opportunity economy, so that every American has the opportunity to own a home, to start a business, and to build wealth and intergenerational wealth. And a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families. So when I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And love you back. And I will tell you, when we get this done together, my friend, and when I am president, I will take on the bad actors who exploit a crisis to rip off consumers on everyday items. Who rip off consumers on everyday items like groceries. I will take on Big Pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs and insulin for all Americans. I will take on the high cost of housing and work with developers to cut the red tape and build millions of new homes. And I will give 100 million Americans a tax cut, including $6,000 to families during the first year of their child's life. Understanding folks just need a little help from time to time, and it's not about just getting by.
What are y'all thoughts? Do y'all believe her? Is it anyone down there in the chat that believes her? What are y'all thoughts? Do y'all think it's a bunch of BS? Y'all think she lying? Talk to me. What are y'all thoughts? Do y'all believe what Kamala is saying? Chris says, I'm not paying for ish. I paid my own way. No profanity in the chat, Chris. But Chris says, I'm not paying for ish. Tommy says, BS. What are y'all thoughts? Are y'all believing Kamala? Let me know.
About getting ahead. the crib or the baby clothes.
$6,000, y'all. The voice in my head says she lies about her race. Why would you believe her? Good point. Murray says Kamala is pure scam.
And unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working class families first. Always. I come from the middle class. I know what I'm talking about. And Savannah, but we got some work to do, okay? We got some work to do because we know Donald Trump has a very different plan. He has a very different plan. Just look at his Project 2025 agenda. Right. If he is elected, Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations. He intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. And he wants to impose what in effect is a national sales tax.
Hackman says she has been trained to have the gift for gab. If y'all feel like Hackman, let me know. Duba says, how does she lie about her race? Melissa, salute Melissa. Melissa says Donald Trump gave us all money. Melissa says we all got bread under Trump. Dubry says gift of gab. Trump middle name is Gab. Melissa says this lady is such a scam.
On everyday products and basic necessities. And it will cost, the economists will tell you, it will cost a typical American family nearly $4,000 a year. So Georgia, on top of all of this, if Donald Trump wins in November, he intends to end the Affordable Care Act, to take us back to a time when insurance companies were not going back.
How do y'all feel? I'm going to come back, y'all. I'm going to come back to Kamala. How do y'all feel about the Affordable Care Act? Trelane says she's telling the truth about his tax breaks. I lost $4,000 a year with Trump in office. The voice in my head says the behavioral panel has a video on Kamala. They explain exactly who and why she speaks the way she does. What are y'all thoughts, though, on the Affordable Care Act? Any thoughts on the Affordable Care Act? What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all thoughts? Do I have any other content creators out there? Any other content creators out there? If you are a content creator, put a content creator. Just put content creator in the chat. We have a new content creator sector that me, along with some other content creator friends of mine, are starting. And this content creator, this new sector is called Switching Lanes Sector. And we're calling all content creators to help us build this new sector. And in this sector, we will be supporting each other's content because there are a lot of content out here that talks about these type of subjects, politics, religion, social issues, so forth and so forth. But some content creators might only have 30 subscribers, 100 subscribers, and they don't get the kind of attention, they don't get pushed in the algorithm. So what we're going to be doing in this sector is helping all content creators get pushed out into the YouTube algorithm. So if you are a content creator and if you are interested in helping us establish this sector where we all support each other. Follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is ShankRock1218. And even if you're just a subscriber and if you would like to help out, make sure y'all tune in. Make sure y'all check my community wall for the up and coming demonstrations from the content creators from the switching lanes sector. All the content I will be sharing to my community wall. So if I could get all my subscribers, if I could get y'all to help me and the rest of the content creators, if I could get y'all to help us build this new sector, and the sector is switching lanes. I'm gonna go back to Kamala. Let me see. Our healthcare system is all about money and keeping people on medication. It's like another form of tax revenue. Duba says, it helped me at 62 years old to get my medication for free. What we really need is for our healthcare system to not be corrupt. I get it, but I mean, the country is corrupted, you know? And it's like, we know that there are problems that we face. Like when you talk about America, let's just talk about America and let's be honest, okay? And on this, I won't make it about race. I won't make it about race. I won't call out white people. I won't call out black people. I won't call out immigrants. I won't call out Democrats. I won't even use any of those names. I'll use Americans, and that's us all as one. So I'm speaking to us all, okay? Now, let's look at the problems that face us Americans, okay? Let's look at the problems that face us Americans. We can look at education. We can look at the economy, our jobs. We can look at the healthcare. There are many other things that we can look at. Can y'all name me one thing, one entity, one institution that is in America? Can y'all name me one institution, from education, politics, religion, all the way down? Name me one that is not corrupted. Name me one that's not in some kind of trouble, whether it's financially or whether it's morally. Name me one. And I'm asking this because the plane that I'm landing, Hackman says this country was built on race. Duba says 0. Right. So the plane that I'm landing is that we, as Americans, we are so busy fighting each other. We're so busy being distracted. And we have all these different issues. We all have these issues. And none of these issues are being solved. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me, because I might be wrong. Tommy said this on the demonstration last time. Sometimes he's wrong. So you might have to correct him. And I feel the same way. Sometimes I'm wrong. But help me if I'm wrong. I'm saying that all of these institutions, we run into issues, whether it's financially or morally. Salute, Tammy. Appreciate you for pulling up. So exactly, as Americans, what are we doing right? Can we start there? As Americans, what are we doing right? Can anybody point out one thing that we are doing right? when it comes to family, and that's the most important institution, or the most important, whatever you want to call it. But family, we damn sure ain't doing right by family. We're not. Can we agree? Can we agree on that? We're not doing right by family. Even if you're married, or even if you're not married. Are we doing right by family? The children, the babies. I can remember. Y'all remember all the slogans back in the days. It was always about the babies. It was always about the children. What happened? What happened to us? Americans. Remember, I'm not sectioning nobody off. I'm not dividing us. What happened to the average American family? Where are we at? The children, the babies, man. The babies are dying. And it's like we're all immune to it. You know, we're focusing on this. We're focusing on almost everything that you can imagine, but we're not focusing on the babies, man. I'm sorry. I got a soft spot for babies. I got a soft spot for babies. And we ain't doing nothing. And yes, I'm holding us all accountable. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are we in the streets marching? Are we in the streets protesting? What's going on? I'll wait. I'm not going to keep y'all that much longer. I'm going to go back to Kamala. But I just want us to focus on the babies, the veterans. See, we can't get around the veterans and the babies. At the end of the day, that's some of the people that we should be protecting. We should be protecting our veterans. We should be protecting our babies. Come on. I see everybody down there. I'm going to come back to y'all. I'm going to finish up with Kamala, and then I'm going to let everybody get out of here.
To your point, the reason we know we can't go back on the issue of the Affordable Care Act, remember what that was like before we had the Affordable Care Act? Remember when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions? Remember what that was like? Children with asthma, breast cancer survivors, grandparents with diabetes. So yeah, we're not going back. We're not going back. Move forward. Ours is a fight for the future. And it's a fight for freedom. Like the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. Understand how we got here. When he was president, Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did just as he intended. And now, more than 20 states have a Trump abortion ban, including Georgia. In fact, every state in the South, except for Virginia, has a Trump abortion ban. And think about that. Many, with no exceptions even for rape and incest. That is immoral. Immoral. And let us all agree, one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government should not be telling her what to do.
I see you, Nina. Salute, Nina. How many of y'all agree with her about this? Salute, Nina. How many of y'all agree? Should the government be allowed to tell a woman what she should do or not do with her body? Talk to me, y'all.
And if he wins, Donald Trump will go further. He will sign a national abortion ban, you best believe. And he would create a national anti-abortion coordinator and force states to report on women's miscarriages and abortions. It's right there in Project 2025. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Simply put, they are out of their minds. Why don't they trust women? Will we trust women?
Now, this is going to be a joke, y'all, so don't take this serious. Why don't we trust women? Once again, y'all, I'm just joking around. I'm just trying to have a little sense of humor. Fellas, why don't we trust women? Ladies, why don't we trust y'all? I'll wait.
And when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly. And across our nation, in addition to that, we are witnessing a full-on assault on other hard-fought, hard-won fundamental freedoms and rights. Let me just say something. Hold up for a second. Hold up for a second. Let me just say something. Let me just say something. We are fighting for democracy. Everyone has a right and should have their voices heard. I am speaking now, but on the subject, I will say this. The president and I are working around the clock. We've got to get a hostage deal done and get a ceasefire done now. So back to this election and Donald Trump. So in addition to the fight on the fundamental freedom to make decisions about one's own body, I have been traveling our country and the people of Georgia know what I know. There is a full-on assault on hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights, including the freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, and an attack on the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. And we will fight against all of that, the climate crisis. Here's the thing. Generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. Now, Savannah, the baton is in our hands. So we who believe in the sacred freedom to vote will finally pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. We who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass universal background checks and red flag laws. So much is on the line in this election. So much is on the line. And understand, this is not 2016 or 2020. Things are different. A lot is the same when we think about the issues, and then there is significant differences. The stakes in 2024 are even higher. Because consider that the United States Supreme Court recently just basically told the former president that going forward he will be effectively immune no matter what he does in the White House. Now just imagine, well, the courts now take care of that. We're going to get out of, we're going to elect ourselves and everybody here in November. The Supreme Court ruling because understand what this means. Just imagine, before there was at least the threat of consequence, understand what it now means and imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails. Imagine what that means when you consider he has openly vowed that if reelected on day one, he will be a dictator. That he would end the independence of the Department of Justice so he could have unchecked power and seek vengeance against people who disagree with him. He even called for termination of the United States Supreme, the supreme land of our nation, the United States Constitution. Think about what that means, and let us be very clear. Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States of America.
We're going to stop right there, y'all. We're going to stop. We're going to stop. I'm going to give a quick analysis on things, a quick breakdown, and then I'm going to let you all get out of here. Salute Don P. Salute Don P. Trump or Kamala? Now it's talk. Salute Precious Jones. I see you, Precious Jones. Now it's talk of a revolution. I'm going to look more into it, but someone sent me some videos and some information on. They're talking about if Donald Trump loses, they're talking about a revolution being started. Salute, JB. One thing that I will say, I am nervous. Yes, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this up and coming election because, let's face it, whoever wins, the other side is going to be mad. Now, if Trump wins, do I believe that the Kamala supporters will go out and cause violence? I don't think so. I don't think so. But I'm worried about Trump supporters that if Trump loses, will they resort to violence? My opinion, I don't want to see that, because win, lose, or draw, you have to respect whatever decision that it is, and the decision is going to be the votes. Now, I wasn't aware of the electoral votes, and I'm still trying to figure that out. The electoral votes. Also, I'm trying to figure out, did they cheat Trump out of the 2020 election? Drop a one if y'all feel as though Trump was cheated out of the 2020 election. Drop a one. I have a lot of ones going on in the chat. At first, I have to be honest, I got two twos. At first, I didn't believe it. It wasn't even a thought in my mind at first. At first. The thought, I said, man, ain't no way in the world that they cheated him. But we got to look at everything that's surrounding Donald Trump since he became our 45th president up until this present time. Now, of course, I won't be able to name everything because it's a whole list. But I'm going to name some of the things that I can remember. I believe first it was his taxes. And this was why he was in office. It was his taxes. He didn't show his taxes. Then it was talks of him being impeached. And as I stated before, there were lots of other things, but then it was the part of him being impeached. Then I remember the felony counts. He convicted of the felony charge. And it was the tweets. We can't forget the tweets. Can't forget the tweets. Can't forget the answer when they asked him about how to cure the coronavirus. Many people feel as though he was just playing when he stated, I don't know, drink some bleach, drink some Clorox bleach. I remember the comment when he made about grab the woman in the private part. The latest thing is the indictment. So what's really going on? Now, is it a reason? Is it a reason why they're bringing these things? Is it a reason why they're throwing these things at him? Is it a play? Is it a big play? Can't forget the assassination attempt. Stole the top secret documents, the sexual charge. Like I said, there's a lot. There's a lot now. But in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. Now, what that means is the only thing that he's been found guilty of, Bad Bunny says, change your vote, Shank. The only thing that he's been found guilty of is the 34 felonies. But now we cannot forget the assassination attempt. Do y'all see where I'm going at with this? He kind of reminds me of Tupac. Y'all remember, if y'all was around during the Tupac days, remember every time you turn around, Tupac was always into something. Now, if you was around during the days of Tupac, unless you was a fan of Tupac, like me, I was a big fan of Tupac. So I really studied it. And 27 years later, the majority of the things that Tupac rapped about, I'ma almost say damn near everything that Tupac rapped about 27 years later came out to be true. Now, I'm not going to make it seem like Tupac was an angel. I'm not going to make it seem like Tupac was a saint. No. And that's not what I'm doing with Trump. I'm not making him to be no angel because he's far from an angel. But I'm sticking to the things that's being thrown at Trump. That's what I'm speaking on. I'm not even speaking about his character. Like, why are all these things happening to Trump? That's the plane that I wanted to land. Trump supporters, Kamala supporters, why do y'all think, and we're going to end this demonstration, I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to answer it. I'm going to let y'all answer it. Why do y'all think, that all these things have been happening to Trump? If we could just stick with that question. Don P said it's the truth. Popular vote is for the representatives to see what their jurisdiction of people and would want based off of popular information. Marketing to the people, deals are done in advance. Don P says before you vote. So once again, why do y'all think all of these things have been happening to Trump? Why do y'all think all of these things is happening to Trump? Kimmer says because he's a crook. Jason says whether you're left wing or right wing, nobody is perfect, boss. And that's true. The voice in my head says Trump had to start his own social media company just to have free speech. Anybody else want to take a shot at why all of these things have been happening to Trump and why all these things still happening to him? Marty says political persecution, it's so evident. Hackman says we would have a different conversation if that Epstein list would have made it out. Wow. Epstein. If the Epstein list would have made it out. Wow. 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 Why are all of these things happening to Trump? Remember, everybody, from the Shanquella Robinson sector. Jason says, let's not get distracted again. Trump wouldn't be on it. Remember, everybody that's from the Shanquella Robinson sector, make sure you all pull up tonight at 9 p.m. for another Shanquella Robinson demonstration. For everyone that's in the switching lanes sector, make sure y'all pull up for the first switching lanes demonstration at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. Duba says because he is a crook, a confident man, a 3 Camonte. Chris Tucker says, my life was better under Trump, and so was all of yours. The voice in my head says, Mark Ruffalo The Hawk got in trouble for post a fake pic of Trump on Epstein's plane. Now people seem to think he went to the island. Kimmer says time on West Coast time on Central time. Eastern time. It'll be Eastern time. I'm on Eastern time. You welcome, Duba. Hackman says, what's the difference between a crook and a liar? I don't know. Once again, I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Salute, and I'll see everybody back tomorrow. Salute.